All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back here to another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast. Of course, me, myself, as always, Sanders here. Got my boy Dupree here with me.
Yes, sir. How we doing? Man?
Man.
Happy belated Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Happy belated Thanksgiving, man. Man, it was a good time, bro. I enjoyed my Thanksgiving, bro. Was out traveling and everything, but I enjoyed it. Sat there, watched a lot of football. Watched a
Always.
lot of football. Enjoyed time with the family. Uh, watched a little bit. I watched a little bit of the parade. The Macy's parade and everything
Okay.
like that. That's a little cool. Had the dog show showing a little bit for Naomi. Had her watch that a little bit. And everything like that. So yeah, man, it was good, bro. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, man. It was good. Got down to South Carolina, spent time with my dad's side of the family, and we had a whole reunion for my grandmother's side of the family and everything. So I got to see all my cousins and everything from that side, and met some other family members, from around the way and everything. Like just, a good time really connect your family tree and really, really see how everybody's connected, how everybody's related, and all that. So it was cool, man. It was cool. And then was able to go down to Georgia to see my mom's folks, to see my mom's parents and everything too. So it was good, man. It was good. Ate good. He said, watch a lot of football. It's always good around Thanksgiving because you're gonna get at least 4 days straight. So at least 4 days straight. So we good.
Yeah.
So it was good, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, a wild Thanksgiving day, as far as like a couple of games. A crazy weekend just with college football, just with the rivalry games, man. A lot of them came down to the wire, one possession games. I mean, which is what you expect, you know what I'm saying? Because regardless of record, you have to throw that out the window, man. Anything can happen. I mean, we saw, Kentucky get the upset win over Louisville, man. We saw numerous games just went down to the wire. That one went down to the wire. Washington State went down to the wire.
Auburn, Alabama.
I mean,
we were
my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it.
Me, my brother, and my dad are standing in the room at my grandparents' house, and fourth and goal, you gotta go for it. And we talking about all this different stuff. Well, okay, it's got to be a Hail Mary. My dad's like, well, maybe if you run everybody to one side and have one guy, by himself, maybe you can, or have him run across the field, something set up a one-on-one. And he threw that ball, and then I'm like, all right, well, I mean, here it go, like, because the camera, you can't see him. Man, he caught that ball. We were all, I know that didn't just happen.
Like for real.
I know that didn't just happen. I know. They did not just win this game like that.
Bro, I sat there and I was like, when it happened, I just sat in my seat like this for about 3 minutes. I was just like,
of all the ways to lose that football game, if you're Auburn, for all the ways for you to lose that football game, and you lose it, it's reminiscent of 2 years ago when they won the double overtime. Double overtime.
In the 4 overtime game.
Yeah, Brushon threw the pass over into that corner, the corner of the end zone to Brooks. Almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Alabama has to score to tie this game up, or in this case, has to score a touchdown to win this game, and they made a play. So that was, those games. I tell people all the time, man, like rivalry games for sure, but that Alabama Auburn game, man, it does not matter. Auburn could be 0-11, or it can be 11-0. It does not matter. Alabama could have a rough year. It does not matter. That game, for some reason, man, that game is always close, no matter if one team should blow them out or not. That game, for some reason, that is always close. It is always close, man. So yeah, that was a crazy one.
Yeah, that one was a crazy one. Probably, the craziest game out of all of them for sure. that this past weekend, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was wild for sure. And I mean, a wild week just in general everywhere. Um, man, there was the last weekend of the regular season for a lot of teams in college
Mm-hmm.
football. And of course, when that happens, you kind of when you get to the end of the season, things happen where they progress where you're trying to figure out guys transferring or who's staying, who's going, declaring for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, coaches moving on, coaches getting relieved of their duties and everything like that. And it hit home for us
Yeah.
this past weekend. Man, for those who don't know, we both attended Middle Tennessee State University. So uh seeing and hearing the news of now former head coach Rick Stockstill being fired after being there for
Mm-hmm.
18 seasons, uh kind of sent shockwaves really throughout the MTSU community because uh, I felt like it was to the point he been there so long that I thought maybe they would allow it to where he could go out on his terms, when he was ready, instead of being fired. But that's what ended up happening after the loss to Sam Houston State. Uh, the team finished 4-8 this season. Probably which more cases than not was a disappointment this year, just because
Mm-hmm.
of the way that the Conference USA landscape was. Now it wasn't your normal like heavy hitters for the most part. You had a lot of new teams coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of thought, they would be in that conversation of, being in the mix of conference championship, maybe at worst case scenario, at least going to a bowl game after
Yeah.
having a tremendous season last year, and going to a bowl game. But I mean, 18 seasons, 113 wins. We're talking about, a conference championship, a CUSA East Division championship. Uh, was it 9, 10 bowl games? I believe that he
Mm-hmm.
he he led there. So um, in a way, a lot of success, but for to some people, they felt like it was a lot of shortcomings, a lot of mishaps,
Mm-hmm.
especially over the last 5 seasons in conference play. They were under 500, 16-22. So we come to it to where they make the decision, and one half is kind of like rejoicing somewhat, I guess, and a little bit or ecstatic, and there's the other half where they're kind of like, this was not the right move. Why would you do this? I don't understand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's deeper than what the surface is, in which I feel like that's what it is. And I know what it really is it's the disconnect between, fans, sponsors, donors, whoever, alumni, and what they see on the surface. And then we got, guys like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This was the most active I've seen Alex on Twitter. the Alex Dale,
But
by the way, that I've
well,
seen on Twitter.
I've
You
seen him
know,
get like that before.
for yeah, I mean, true. He has history of it, but it's like it's the first time in a while I've seen him
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
this
Mm-hmm.
active on Twitter, and and rightfully so. So that's why I believe that there's the fans and
Mm-hmm.
alumni, whoever else who just sees the surface, and then there's guys like Alex, guys like yourself who who was under Coach Stock's wing, played for him and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know more than
Yeah.
probably what the average person knows. You know what I mean? So, and I think there's a disconnect of where you got that one side that's like cheering and saying, oh, I'm finally glad this is over with, and then there's the other side, bro. Like, I'm as a former player, I'm just gonna give you the floor to speak your piece, my brother.
Well, first, um, I appreciate Coach Stock for everything that he's done for me. Giving me an opportunity to continue to play the game that I love after high school. Um, didn't really know what I was going to, if I wanted to play, I knew I wanted to play. But this kind of came down to two, and ended up deciding to come to MTSU. My uncles played at MTSU. My uncle's in the Hall of Fame at MT. And so it made sense. It felt like home, and I mean I love MTSU, man. I love it. I love it. Loved every second of it. And Coach Stock is a big reason why. Um, I think he just made everybody feel like they were a part of something bigger than themselves. And instilled a lot. I mean, instilled a lot. There's still times where I'll walk in the building and I'll have a hat on, and I just remember him doing this. It's like, hey, take your hat off. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so it's just little stuff like that, man. A lot of things now getting into the coaching profession. A lot of things that he has said and said to us while I was in that team meeting room, I now turn around and say back to the guys that I'm coaching. Um, and I know he's impacted a lot of people, players, coaches, administrators. I mean, trainers, just anybody that was had anything to do and was a part of MTSU while he was there for those 18 years. I know he's played a part in who they are. Um, so that part, man, it sucks. But also too, being in this profession, I understand, and I know Coach Stock understands. Like, it's a business, and this year for me, just outside looking in, it was frustrating. It was because you have performances like they had against Liberty where they are going tick for tack. I mean, they're in the game and you have a late turnover that ultimately probably is cost you the game, and then you have a game where you go and play New Mexico State and the score is 13-7. So like you have, it's ebbs and flows, man, ebbs and flows. And I wasn't there, so I don't know all obviously I don't know all the details of what was going on throughout the season. But I know it was rough. And so when you have a season like that, it's tough. And there might be, a change that, administration is looking to make. Um, but Coach Stock has been coaching with one hand tied behind his back the whole time he was at MTSU. Point blank, period. I knew when I was playing, there was an issue. There was a problem. I, People used to ask me all the time, man, would I go back to MT to coach? And there was always hesitation, not for the people that were there, not because of the people that was there, but because of some of the other stuff that needs to get taken care of. If I just go into recruiting, it is a arms race. Recruiting now is a arms race, and you have to keep up with the times to be able to recruit and get good players. You have to. It just is what it is. It is no longer a thing, and I think this even goes back to before I got there. It's not no longer facilities were a part of recruiting and have always been a part of recruiting. But I don't think they hasn't. I don't think it was as big when Coach Stock first got to MTSU. I'll put it like that. And now, 18 years, facilities are a huge part. You see, Alabama is updating their facility look like every 2-3 years, man. And they're like they don't need to, but they do because I want to stay top of the line. So I got to do something because all these other schools in this conference are doing stuff. If you go and you look at Conference USA now, there are 9 teams, including MTSU. MTSU is in the bottom third in the conference when it comes to facilities. I know it, and I don't have to go and look. I promise you, I know it. I know it's in the bottom third. I know it's in the bottom third. Liberty just got into the conference. I know their facilities are better. WKU, your rival, 100 miles of hate. I know their facilities are better than MTSU's. La Tech has the Davidson complex. We played down there. I believe that might have been the first year I was at MTSU. Played down there. They had the Davidson complex. That facility is better. Excuse me. That's not to count when Marshall was in the conference, when Southern Miss was in the conference. Not to mention when UTSA was in the conference, and UTSA was not great before at the beginning when I first got to MTSU. When Charlotte was in the conference, now you added Jacksonville State, and they're still solid. So you're in the bottom third now with 9 teams. You're in the bottom third in facilities. Now they just broke ground on a new facility, and that's great. It's great that they're doing that. I'm glad that we've finally been able to do that. But I've heard about that for forever, man. I've heard about that for forever. And I get it. There's things that got to happen. You got to have money. You got to have different things to be able to fund that type of building. But how long does it take, man? What you can't win. You can't win with some of the stuff that MP was having to deal with. You going into a gunfight with a knife. When you in recruiting, if I'm recruiting the kid and you recruiting the kid, Sanders, we might have the same relationship with the kid. He might love us both. We at different schools. He might love both of us. But your school has better facilities, has a better weight room, locker room, training room. You got all these now. You got all these hyperbolic chambers and hot tub, cold tub. You got nutrition station, all that stuff. If our relationship is the same, if we both got the same program that they want, where do you think the kid going? Where do you think he going? What you want the man to do? What do you want him to do? And I've seen the fans, and that's why Dale has done it before, where Dale has gone at fans on Twitter, so it didn't surprise. I know it didn't surprise you. I'm not saying it surprised you, but it didn't surprise me because he's done it before. Fans talking about, like you said, fans are happy that we finally making a move and he's getting out of here and stuff. People were acting like they were going to the games anyway. They got like they were going to the games anyway. Go look up 2018 UAB MTSU Conference USA Championship game. It looked like it was a damn spring game in the stadium. We hosted a conference championship game, and there was nobody there. We didn't play at 11 o'clock. We didn't
It
play
was
at
in the
11.
afternoon. I was at the game. It was in the afternoon.
We hosted a conference championship game, man. You couldn't even fill up the stadium. It ain't like Floyd Stadium holds 60,000 people. I ain't even say. I think Floyd Stadium hold 28. I think it hold 28. It wasn't 10,000 people in the stands, man, for a conference championship game at home on campus. So you can't support when you have a conference championship game on your home turf. Everybody talking about now they want to come to games. So what? So we weren't worthy to come and see when we were playing for a conference championship. But now Coach Stark is gone, and now you're willing to come back around. Now you're willing to come back around. They just beat Miami last year. Let's not forget they just drug Miami last year. Just drug them. Just drug them. To not go too far. Like I, there are things that you need to be able to run and have a successful college football program. To run a successful college football program, and those things were not all there at MTSU while Coach Stock was there. So everybody that's talking about all the recruits that were in Middle Tennessee to the left and all this stuff, yeah, okay, cool. I want you to go and look at the schools that they were going to. Just look in state. You can just look in state. You can just look in state. You had to go to Tennessee State for a pro day because Tennessee State had an indoor. The MT didn't. a Group of 5 Division I football program now. Had to go to Tennessee State, an hour away to Nashville, an hour. Because Tennessee State is on the other side of Nashville, a whole hour away to compete and do your pro day. You couldn't even do it at MTSU. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we exactly talking about? What disconnect? I don't the disconnect that people are talking about, and I don't understand it. Go to a game and you'll see it, and you'll see it. Sanders, I literally, and you know this person, I'm not gonna put him out there. Literally, that last year when we played for the conference championship, somebody literally asked me, or not so much asked me, but made a statement that they thought we weren't that good that year. Now this is them not knowing. This is them not going to a game. How we played for a conference title. Oh, for real? You go to the school. You go to the school. What you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? So that's on Coach Stop? That people not coming to the games? That's on Coach Stop. That's on Coach Stop that we not getting every recruit that people think that we should get. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get every recruit. You're not going to. The wins and losses, I hear you. I hear you. But he just came off a back-to-back, literally back-to-back bowl wins 2 years in a row, or Hawaii, excuse me. Hawaii, then the Bahamas. And this year was, like I said, this year was rough. From that standpoint, man, I'm coaching. I'm in college football. I'm coaching. I hear you. I get it. I get it. But for all of the finally he's gone and like just some of the all of that, I'm like, man, y'all people don't understand, man. People do not understand. And I'm like I said, I'm glad they building a new facility and everything. I'm glad they finally getting that together. But MT has been behind the 8 ball. They've been 8 years behind for a long time. They've been 8 years behind for a long time. When they should have been upgrading stuff while we were at MT, while I was there, they should have been doing stuff to
I
try to
was
keep up.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you think, because I can't necessarily speak on, or we can't necessarily speak on the time from when Coach Stock first got there to before we were there. You know, there were some ebbs and flows there, essentially too.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about from that time from let's just even be real with it, before the even a little bit before the time we got, let's say 2012. From the time from
Mm-hmm.
2012 to 2018, there was never a losing season. I think the worst season was 2014 at 6-6. Other than that,
Yeah.
it was 7-8. It was 7-8 wins consistent, going to bowl games. Like you said, had a conference championship game in 2018. Do you think they just did that? What should have been the time that they should have been working on?
That should have been the window. In 2012, they beat Georgia Tech and went 8-4. I got there in my years where I was there. We played Alabama, Vanderbilt multiple times, Illinois, Minnesota, Missouri, beat Missouri, Syracuse, beat Syracuse, Georgia, Kentucky. Uh, Listen, I believe that's it. We played all those schools, beat 2 of them. So from 2012 to when I was there 2018, you beat 3 Power 5 schools. 3 Power 5 schools. From 15 to 18 when I was there, you went to 4 straight bowl games and won one. Something should have been done during that. You were hot. That's when you were hot. That's when you were hot and you were rolling. Something had to give, man.
Yeah,
Something had to give. You had to do something during that window of time to help yourself out. There were other schools building stuff building new stuff on their campus while we going to play them, upgrading stuff, upgrading facilities, doing this, doing that, whatever it might be, doing things to help better the program. People ask why does MT play all these big schools all the time? Well, not just MT, but other small schools play big schools all the time because you get paid, so you can help do stuff and get stuff for your program. So you can help do stuff and help your program. I, to know Coach Stock is to know that he cared about his players, he cared about winning, and the dudes that played for him played hard for him. I ain't heard Coach. I saw Coach Stock get pissed one time while I was there at MTSU. Just lose it one time. He was just really, just cool, just a cool mannered dude. But he knew how to relate. He knew how to talk to people, and he knew how to get his guys ready to play ball. And you can't tell me that from that time frame, you said 2012 to 2018, you can't tell me there during that time where you had that run where there weren't any discussions, any talks, nothing. Nothing was could nothing be done to help your mans out, to help them. It's an arms race. It's a arms race, man. We talk about it at the school I'm at now. You go to these different campuses, you see these different facilities, you see their stadium, you see this, you see that. All right, man. How can what we gotta do something. You have to. And MT been behind the 8 ball, man. The locker room is in the bottom of the Murphy Center, man. The locker room is down the bottom of the Murphy Center. I remember going to the locker room. My uncle played back in the '90s, early 2000s. I remember going to the locker room. You gotta help your man's out. It's at least I'll say it like this, at least for 18 years, that facility might not change for the 18 years that Coach Stock was there. And I can't speak on it because I wasn't there in 2006, but it might not have changed, man. It might not have changed. And so I definitely thought, to your point earlier, I definitely thought that it was kind of gonna be on his timing, like kind of whenever when Coach Stock was like, all right, when he decided to kind of ride off to the sunset and be done, I thought that's how it was gonna roll. Like I said, it didn't happen that way. But you wonder why you can't beat WKU. You wonder why, you lose to, this school or that school or whatever it is, man. Like, for anybody, I'll just tell you like this. Go look at 2018 UAB MTSU Conference USA Championship game. And then y'all go look at all the schools in Conference USA right now, all the current teams, there's 9 of them. Go look at their facilities and you rank them and you let me know. But it's all love to Coach Stock. It's all love to Coach Stock. All love to the coach staff. A lot of the coaches that were there when I was playing are still there. Some of my teammates are now, some of my former teammates are now coaching there too. So it's all love, man. And I hope that the new coach that come in, I hope he does well. Like this is not like I'm gonna hate the next coach and everything like that, man. I'm still gonna support and everything, man. I hope he comes in and does a great job and gets it rolling because I definitely think MT could be like a Liberty ranked and be in one of these New Year Six. I thought we could have did when I was there, especially with the stuff, the schedule that we played. Be one of these New Year Six balls and everything like that. I definitely think it could happen. So definitely gonna support whoever the new coach is. Um, but yeah, man, there's more to it, man. There's more to it, and so all the fans, some of they come back and support now. The only question I have is, where were you 7 years ago? That's it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a odd situation just because of how it is. Because I feel like some of that stuff is not necessarily is or was Coach Stock's fault. If we know, like, campus should have known that there was a conference championship game that Saturday. You know what I mean? Like, that's going into marketing and that's for a whole nother. We could have a whole
Yeah,
episode on this. So
but
I don't want to.
but you right though. Like
But you know, what I'm saying I feel
you
like a
got
lot.
to
I feel
guard
like a
the
lot of
ball.
times, bro. I feel like a lot of times, bro. And this is me. This is me just talking as just a former student.
I feel it.
I feel like a lot of times. Now, granted, I may be the exception just because of my love for sports, my love for football. I was, for the most part, if I didn't have to, if I didn't have to work or I didn't have something that I couldn't miss out on that I had to go do,
Mm-hmm.
I would go to a game. Yeah, like literally, like even the year the year I graduated, I was still going to games. Like I was still
Yeah.
going to games. You know what I mean? Like right then and there. So that I may be the exception to it, but I feel like if we went to go survey 10 random students, and if they knew if we had a game that Saturday, I feel like you can only maybe 3 would know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
I
probably
feel that.
being generous. I'm probably being generous saying 3.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, at that point now, does that fall on co-stock? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if the product is being put out there and it's a good product, who is supposed to reel that in to let people know that I mean, it's simple, right? Not to go off subject with it, but we're seeing it like with Keith Lee, right? You know what I mean? Like, he go do a food review, next thing you know, like, people are flocking.
Business
Like, it's
booming.
you feel me? So it's just like, hello,
Yeah.
you
So
know. But like I said, that right there, that's a part 2. That'll be a whole nother separate episode that we'll need with it, man. But
mm-hmm.
I mean, man, yeah, Coach Stock was a great guy, man. Great person, great human. The couple times that I spoke with him before, nothing bad on it either. Whoever the new coach may be, hopefully, that they give them time, they give them what they need, and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that to kind of to catch up with everything. And you know, to the people who always were there and were supporting, keep supporting. The ones who for some reason just wanted to leave and now you want to come back, okay, let's put up a shut up, what we gonna do? So that's that on that, man. So 18 years is a long time.
It is, man. It is. It's a long time
best
though. You
best yeah.
there for a
To,
while.
to to be to be there for almost 2 decades, man. I mean, that's why I
Mm.
feel like at that point, you might as well let him go out when he wants to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
You there
but
for a long time, man. You there for a
yeah,
long.
yeah. Man, but someone who wasn't there for a long time at their next stop, going into the pros. Speaking of coaches still being fired,
Boy.
Frank Wright up there in Carolina, uh, let go after their game this past week. 1-10 start for Carolina. So it's not looking good. Yeah, at one point where he was in charge of the play calling, then he gave up the duties, and then he got it right back, and just a lot was going on. But now we're kind of here. We're kind of starting to hear that it was a lot of almost kind of similar to what was going on here. A lot of internal stuff that's coming out now that we're figuring out that essentially Frank Wright wanted C.J. Stroud, but David Tepper wanted Bryce Young. So now we're hearing that you made the trade up to go get up to the number 1 pick, and originally the head coach wants C.J. Stroud, the owner wants Bryce Young. So now there's a rift there, and not saying that maybe Frank Wright doesn't like Bryce Young, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just he had a preference,
Yeah.
and that doesn't happen. And now, we got which is in a way it's kind of normal for a rookie quarterback for the most part. Sometimes every now and again we have some great rookie quarterbacks, but a lot of times, normally the greats end up having. Peyton Manning is one of the best quarterbacks ever. He had a terrible rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so this is
Terrible.
not it's not all predicated on Bryce Young saying he had a bad year. Trevor Lawrence had a terrible rookie season, and he's had it turned around here the past 2 years. But I just with Carolina, I guess what the problem is that the fact that all the draft capital that you gave up to move up, you grab
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young, but essentially the O line is still bad. There's really no real playmakers there for him. I mean, no disrespect to, Miles Sanders or Adam Thielen or, DJ Shark, any of those guys, but none of them, jump out and scare you anymore like maybe they used to back then. I don't know. I mean, it's tough that happened for him. Man, what do you think that just went wrong for Coach Wright in Carolina? Because it seemed like when the hire was made, that would be a good hire. Offensive guy, former quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, once Carolina made the trade with Chicago, you knew that they was jumping up to take a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Trying to figure out who it was, but obviously you don't make that jump and not take a quarterback. So sitting there waiting on that, but what I guess two questions on it is what went wrong for Coach Wright to where it led to this decision, and then where on a scale of 1 to 10 does this job even seem okay to want to take? Because you don't have pretty much you don't have a first round pick now for this upcoming draft, so your draft capital is kind of limited. I'm not sure how they are on free agency with their cap money,
Yeah.
but what who ends up wanting to come take that job?
Yeah. To your first question, it probably was the decision to go with Bryce Young instead of CJ Stroud. It's always tough when you know, head coach wants somebody and the owner wants somebody else, or the head coach wants somebody and the GM wants somebody else. So you had that little rift and everything with that. And really, to be honest, man, it's just the Panthers are just bad. And I didn't think they would be good this year, but I did not think they would be this bad. I thought the defense over the last couple of years have definitely been playing better than what they were. I like Bryce Young. I like CJ Stroud as well. But to me, owner wants one guy, GM, whoever it is, but the owner wants one guy, head coach wants another. You gotta give the head coach his guy. Like if he wants this guy, you gotta give it to him, man. Like this is a first time, well not first time head coach, but you bringing him in. He's back with the Panthers. He was the first quarterback to play for the Panthers. Like you gotta help your man's out. So if he wants this particular guy, you gotta get him this guy so he can help. You know, whatever vision he has for the organization, he can see it through with whoever that might be. Whether it was apparently it was CJ Stroud, but they couldn't protect for him. I mean, Bryce Young is not a big guy, but he's back there getting pummeled. They don't have a run game. The trade for when they gave away DJ Moore, that does not look like a good trade now because, like you said, you don't have any weapons. I thought that the Miles Sanders pickup was going to bode better for them, but it really hasn't worked out. They let go of Deuce Staley too, who's the running backs coach, associate head coach. Let go of him as well. The defense just hasn't been playing well. So for your second question, I don't know. You said a scale of 1 to 10. What I rank it? 10 being a slam dunk and 1 being stay the hell away. 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking a 3.
I mean, like you say, you don't have your first round pick. Now you have a quarterback, and Bryce Young is not bad. I do not think that Bryce Young is bad. What I don't want to happen is what happened to Baker Mayfield. Do I think Bryce Young is better than Baker Mayfield? Yes. But Baker Mayfield was balling. But Baker Mayfield had 4 or 5 OCs in his first 4 or 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then Baker Mayfield started doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they can get somebody in Carolina and keep him there so Bryce Young can develop. Because what'll happen is if this trend continues, let's just say over the next 3 years they hire another 2 OCs or another they got to get another head coach or whatever it is. It's not going to be the Panthers organization is bad. It's going to be Bryce Young sucks.
Yeah.
He doesn't play well. It's going to be that he's a bad quarterback. He's a bust. They should have took CJ, especially if CJ Sharkey's playing the way he's been playing. They should have took CJ and not Bryce. Bryce is a bust. When, to be real, Bryce probably isn't a bust. He's just been playing in 3 different systems. And he's trying to figure out how not to get killed every Sunday. So no draft capital. I don't know what their salary cap looks like. I have no clue what that looks like. But you don't have any weapons for real. The weapons that you have are kind of on there. Adam Thielen is older. Um, LaVisca Chenault, he's cool. Uh, what's my guy from LSU? I can't even think of his name.
DJ Shark. DJ Shark.
DJ Shark, but what's my
Yeah.
the other
Oh,
guy too?
Terrence Marshall. Terrence Marshall.
Terrence Marshall. He
Yeah.
really blossomed. He really hasn't really come into his own yet. Like I said, the whole running back deal with Miles Sanders, that really hasn't worked out. So you got to get an old line to protect. You got to protect Bryce Young. So you got to get some guys in there to help protect your quarterback, and then you got to get him some weapons. Until then, man, it's going to be rough in Carolina. So I always firing a guy during the season is always rough. That always kind of is rough for me, but I think it also speaks to what you led going into this topic was there had to be more going on. You're not just gonna let a guy go. More times than not, you're gonna let a guy finish out throughout the
Finish the
season.
season. Yeah.
For them to let him go during the season, midway through it, and midpoint of the season, there was some stuff going on in terms of that. It just couldn't be ignored, and there was too much going on, so they had to make a change. So it's tough. It's tough. Obviously, I mean, how much do I really care? Not really, because they're in our division. They can go 0-17 for all I care. To be
Facts.
honest,
Because
I
now I'm
wish
like
wish
now.
Brad do well, but I don't really care. Don't blame.
Yeah. Because now I'm like,
I don't hate the Panthers, but I also like
yeah.
okay, whatever.
Right. Because
But
because now I'm like hearing all this. Now I'm thinking, man, thank goodness y'all didn't draft CJ, bro. He was gonna
boy,
be
yeah,
playing
you
like
gonna be
this. But then
oh
on the
boy.
flip side, I mean, we talking about the deficiencies that Carolina has. Who's to say that CJ wouldn't be struggling the same way that Bryce is right now,
He
just because
maybe
of
it too, man.
you
Yeah, so
know, So it's just it may not, and I know people gonna do that. That's what people like to do now. They like to sit here and compare each time a new draft class coming out. They want to compare this guy to this guy, and especially at that position, at the quarterback position, is
yeah.
whatever. Each year when the draft class come out, they always gonna compare. I mean, there was 2004. There's '08 with Flacco and Ryan. There's
Mm-hmm.
2012 class.
Yeah.
RG3 Luck. Us, and then you got Wentz and Golf in 2016. It's just on and on and on. They're gonna always try to
Mm-hmm.
compare each guy, whatever, unfair or unfairly. So that I think that part of it is kind of annoying, for sure, because I mean, especially the fact that it's just we're not even finished with the first season yet. Like we really don't
Yeah.
know, what I'm saying, what's gonna really happen. You can't really consider, you know, that this guy isn't a hit or this is a bust or anything like that. Like whatever, but it's just, I mean, it just kind of sucks, what I'm saying. If you're a Carolina fan, I mean, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
to a certain, me, I don't think they, that you had the years of Cam Newton. And there's a couple of years before that, but I always thought that for me as a Falcon fan, that the Panthers that's little bro. You know what I'm saying? They little bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like every now and again they gonna win something. Because that's what little bro gonna do. But you big bro compared to like the other teams to a little bit. It's a little bit more of a dogfight. But I feel like that's. Okay, you
It's
beat
cute.
me. Okay, but what about the other? You beat me this one time. What about the other 19 times I done beat you out of these
Yeah,
last
yeah,
20?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Whatever. So it's just that's just that. But I mean, yeah, not sure who they may try to look at. I don't know. It's we still got a ways to go. Could be a couple of assistant coaches that's out here that's looking to maybe get jobs again. I mean, who knows, man? DQ might end up being another head coach again. Uh,
He made a case for it, boy.
yeah,
He
so
made
it's so many other,
wouldn't want him
it's a
in
lot.
competition. I don't know if I want him in the division because he gonna draft some defense. He gonna get some
Yeah,
boys. So I don't know if I
yeah,
want him in. But he's making the case, man. He's making the case for it for sure.
yeah,
He
yeah,
might need
but
to go out to LA and roll
mm,
with the boys Chargers.
yeah,
They already got some pieces there. I know we getting but
yeah,
Chargers might
you
not be.
know,
I mean, you got a quarterback. You got Bosa, Khalil Mack, Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James. You got Kenneth Murray, linebacker. Like
yeah, they got too many guys for their
they
defense to
got
be
some
that bad.
dogs.
Yeah,
Some
they
dogs.
got too many guys for their defense to be that bad. So
Brandon
they,
Staley, you might be in some trouble. Boy.
he no
You in
ain't no
some
Mike.
trouble.
He on the clock, bro. Yeah, he on the clock. I'm gonna be real with you. He on the clock. They
It's,
might not want to say it, but he on the clock, bro. He
I,
on the clock.
I,
But
I would be shocked if he was the head coach. If he was the head coach next year, I'd be shocked.
I would
I
be
mean,
too.
utterly. I'll be like, he's the what? He's still the head
Yeah,
coach.
right, right, right.
What? All right. Well, I guess that's what we doing now, huh? Okay.
Facts,
Cool. Cool.
man. But we moving along now, man. We getting down to pretty much the stretch run of the season. Week 13 coming up. And man, honestly, outside of maybe a couple of divisions, man, it's the division race for most of these divisions are still up for grabs, man. To a certain extent, it's very, very, very
Mm-hmm.
close. Uh, I know for me, the first division I'm looking at, which to me, I don't know if you looking at it too, but I say the NFC North. I mean, although yes, Detroit is sitting at 8-3,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't look that well on Thanksgiving, against the Green Bay Packers, so they let one slip away. Uh, Even though Minnesota had a bad game this past Monday night, sitting at 6-6, those two teams hadn't played each other yet, so it's getting close to the time to where that's up for grabs, man. I mean, the AFC North is
Dude.
is loaded. It's loaded, even though Baltimore has basically like a 2-game lead there, but they've already lost one to Pittsburgh, so they
Yep.
chugging along. Cleveland's moving along. It's crazy, and of course, um, it still is the worst division in football, but it's coming down to it, man. The NFC South. I mean, nobody's over 500, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after the win this past Sunday, the Atlanta Falcons sitting in first place just because of, more importantly, haven't lost a division game yet. They won all their
Yep.
division games so far, and that's what matters, man. But which and this is some other ones that you see, but which ones out of those three is just kind of like you are most excited for to see what happens to come down to in that division?
I don't think it's the AFC North because I think that Baltimore is going the wrong way with that one. I think that Cleveland's defense is good. I think that Pittsburgh's defense is good. But Cleveland being down Deshaun Watson and then Kenny Pickett kind of being out, the offense exploded, and it's the first time they've had 400 yards and whatever. It's the first time they outgained their opponent in however many games. But I just don't know if Pittsburgh. I don't think Pittsburgh has the horses to run with Baltimore when it comes down to it. Now, Like you said, they're gonna have to beat Pittsburgh here coming up soon. The NFC North could get dicey. It could get dicey. That was not a good look for Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. That was a bad loss. That was if anybody bet and took the money line on Detroit to win, they were sick. Because I don't know how many people actually would have picked Green Bay to win that football game, especially how Detroit have been playing all year. But just recently, like they've been playing well, and to play like that at home against Green Bay, that's rough. And they're fortunate that that Minnesota lost um, prior to that because Minnesota was reeling off wins and looking like they were about to make a serious run for it. I'm gonna say the NFC South won. Homer. I'm gonna be a homer for a second. It is what it is. Call it what you want. Whatever. All right. NFC South. It is the worst division in football. If you look at record wise, it is the worst division in football. Um, but you got teams. You got the Falcons sitting at 5-6. The Saints sitting at 5-6. And the Tampa Bay sitting at 4-7. I think this is gonna come down to the Falcons and the Aints. Excuse me. It's gonna come down to the Falcons and the Aints. But right, like you said, right now, what's separating the Falcons from everybody else in the division? 3-0. You beat Tampa Bay, you beat Carolina, you beat the Saints. Now you're going to end the year going down to New Orleans, going down there to New Orleans. All right, so in a couple weeks, they play the Jets this week, but in a couple weeks you come up to Charlotte and play the Panthers. I think if they can keep winning, you keep winning your divisional games, you got a shot. All right, you do not want to go down to New Orleans playing for the division crown. You want to lock this thing up before you have to go down there to New Orleans to play in the Superdome. If you go down there in Superdome and the division is on the line, let you know something right now. I'm gonna be a little tight. I'm gonna be a little tight because playing down there hasn't. We've been all right going down there, but I don't know. I'd be real nervous trying to go down there and play for a divisional crown. Um, Carolina obviously is out of it. Tampa is still in it. Tampa is sneaky, but just like I don't know about Baker, um, but with the Falcons and the Saints, you got two really good defenses. The Falcons are ranked 7th in the league. And total defense, I believe New Orleans is like 9 in the NFL in total defense as well. So you got two good defenses. It's the and if you watch the game, I know you watched the game on Sunday. There are little crucial not little, but there are crucial mistakes that both teams make that ultimately cost them football games. You got the pick six that Derek Carr threw that got Atlanta started on there, got Atlanta on the board. But then at the end of the half, Atlanta's driving down to Desmond Ritter. Now, granted, I do not believe that was on him. Bijan Robinson, like he stopped running. But regardless, he threw a pick. You're going in to score a touchdown or at least get some points on the board. You can double dip because you get the ball coming out of half, and you throw a pick in the red zone. Stuff like that is going to get you beat, especially when you get to the playoffs. So how that race fizzles out, I think out of those three, the NFC South is going to have the tightest race. I think that Detroit is going to pull away just like I believe Baltimore will. So I think that NFC South is going to be the most intriguing because it could be one of those old NFC East type deals where the last the last week could determine who's going to the playoffs and who's going home.
Yeah, same for me. I've always thought that even before the season started, I felt like the division was coming down between Atlanta and New Orleans. I didn't think the other two teams mattered. I felt like it was gonna come between them just because number one, they had the top two easiest schedules as far as percentage wise from everybody's record last year. And statistics just shows that whoever ends up having the easiest or second easiest normally makes the playoffs, I think like 80% of the time. So it was just kind of like it was set up for them to be like, all right, one of y'all gonna have to do it. Somebody's gonna have to win the division anyway. So That's just it is what it is. But I'm gonna say this real quick to Atlanta Falcon Twitter and just Atlanta Falcon fans in general. I've seen a lot of people talking about I don't want us to do this. We should not try to win any more games because how we gonna end up getting the quarterback for the draft next year and if we do that, then next year we're gonna have a first place schedule and we're not that good anyway. So why we want to do that? Bump all that. We ain't been to the playoffs in 5 seasons.
Yeah, it's
I
been a
don't
while.
I don't care. I don't care if we win the division and we got to end up playing Dallas and we lose by 3 to if that, I'm just talking if that happens.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium hasn't seen a playoff game, bro. An NFL playoff game.
yeah, yeah.
They haven't seen it. We haven't. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium hasn't seen an NFL playoff. I don't give a damn about trying to get no position in no draft. We ain't been to the playoffs in 5 years.
Yeah, we got to get back.
It's time for that. The schedule is gonna be rough anyway. I already looked at the 24 schedule, so it don't matter what place we in. The schedule's gonna be rough anyway because we got, if I'm not mistaken, we got the AFC West and the NFC East. So we seeing
So,
Dallas, Philly already next year anyway. We seeing Kansas City next year anyway.
it don't even, yeah.
It don't matter. It don't matter. At that point, we just determining if we're gonna see the 49ers. If we end up being first, it'll be if we see the 49ers, or if we end up being second, it'll be Seattle. Whatever.
Yeah,
None of that don't matter to me. The schedule for next year gonna be rough regardless. So we might as well just go ahead, get up in there,
yeah.
and at that point, it's anybody's ball game because we've seen it numerous times where there's supposed to be where a home underdog or anybody an underdog in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and they end up winning it. It gives you a shot.
Yeah.
Y'all got to stop that, bro. Y'all just that
Yeah,
has to stop.
games. If we were sitting 11 games in, and you talking we 3-8, 4-7,
Cool.
I ain't too much tripping. We 5-6, man. We are 5-6, and we are first place in the division. You still can get if we win the division. Say they finish the year 9-7 or 9-8. Say they finish the year 8 and they win the division. They still can get a top 15 pick. They still get a top 15 pick. Even if you make the playoffs, if you end up, even if you end up making the playoffs, you still can end up with a top 15, top 16 pick. Because Carolina does not have a pick. And you can always move up. Now I do agree. We do need to be in the market. We need to get a quarterback. Like Desmond, cool. We need a quarterback. All right. We need a quarterback. So I'm with them on that.
That's cool. That's cool. But
we ain't taking no
we'll get to
games,
that. We'll get to that when we get to that. Yeah.
Get to the playoffs. Get to the playoffs. Because I think we'll be able to make a move regardless. I think we got enough draft. I think we got enough draft capital and picks and stuff to be able to finagle something. If we need to move up, we could. But yeah, nah, man. I want to get to the playoffs, man. I'm tired of not being. This it's been a while. Like you said, it's been 5 years, man. We went on a run. Atlanta was on a run where they were in the playoff. It wasn't a question.
Just about. Yeah, real talk.
Every year. So yeah, nah, man. Nah, yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, nah. I ain't trying to hear that neither. Get in the dance. Get in the dance.
Yeah, let's get in there. You never know what can happen,
Especially
man.
you're a host.
You never know what can happen.
Cause they'll be at the game. They'll be at the playoff game.
Right. Come on, right. You know what I mean? Man. But speaking of playoff game, big game this week. To me, the only real big game of the week. Man, we got the rematch of the NFC Championship game from last season. Sunday afternoon, San Francisco 49ers going up to Philly to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, the Eagles had a hell of a game last week against the Buffalo Bills. That right now, that's probably game of the year. 49ers, they've been on the road here after they bye week. They've been rolling along. Had that big Thanksgiving win against the Seahawks. So now both teams are kind of where we thought they were going to be at, at this point of the season, where this is a chance to solidify probably who gets home field advantage throughout the playoffs, on the NFC side, and who can have those bragging rights, man. Who you got in this one?
I don't want to
Yeah.
pick. Nah, man. I'm going to pick the 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers. And the reason why I'm going to take the 49ers, as good as Philly has been in the second half, as good as they've been in the second half of football games, and been able to coming back against Kansas City, and then last week coming back against Buffalo, I do not see you getting in the hole against San Francisco and coming back and winning that game. If Philly goes down 14 points, they're down 14 at half, they're gonna be flirting with some trouble. That defense is not to be played around with. They cannot have the same first half struggles that they've had the last couple of weeks against this San Francisco 49ers team, who's got their mojo back now that Debo and Trent Williams are back. They've got it back, and they're going to have something to prove. Obviously, it's not going to them winning this game is not going to quote unquote get revenge from from last year. But this is definitely, I believe that San Francisco is going in there to send a message, because they definitely feel like, and I know a lot of people feel like that wasn't a real NFC Championship game. First quarter, your starting quarterback goes down. Then a couple quarters later, the backup goes down. So you got Christian McCaffrey back there playing Wildcat quarterback. So I think San Francisco is going to be highly motivated to play this game on Sunday. I think they're going to be hyped. They're going to be ready. And if Philly goes down, they are in for a long night, because they will not. That defensive line, they just rotate. They can rotate four at a time if they wanted to. They just rotate, and they just keep coming at you at waves. You got Freight Warner at that linebacker position. They're going to try to get after Jalen Hurts. They're going to try to get after him, get him off his spot. They got to be able to keep him in the pocket and not let him affect the game with his legs, because that has shown to bite teams late. So what happened with Buffalo, especially in that overtime, that's how they scored. But a lot of those third downs, he's able to extend drives with his legs. But I'm going with San Francisco. I think they're playing good football. I think they got their mojo back. And I think they're going to be up in this game. And it's not going to – they won't be the comeback kids again. Philly won't be the comeback kids again. Those slow starts will come back to bite them in this game. So I'm going to go San Fran on the road.
I think that possibly this game could kind of be similar to the Philly Kansas City game. I think we're gonna see the defenses shine just a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. There may be some explosive plays here and there every now and again, but I think it won't be like any lapses or anything. Like, everything is gonna be earned.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is gonna be earned. Um, I just feel like Philly keep finding ways to
Yeah.
win, bro. They've been finding so many different ways to win. I just feel like until somebody end up beating them, bro, and which 49ers are the team that could do it, I'm gonna roll with Philly. I feel like until a team can come in there and and beat them to where they don't allow them to come back, like you said, that they probably
Mm-hmm.
won't end up happening. I just think they won't be necessarily so rattled by it, just because they've
Yeah.
been down, and they've blown teams out. They've been in close games. They've pulled away late in the second half. They've won last second. They've done it in so many different ways. I think nothing will necessarily phase them. So I feel
Yeah.
like until a team comes in and just you know squarely beats them, and don't let up, and take care of business, I think Philly is just going to end up doing what they have to do. So, can the 49ers do it? Yes, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. They did. If any team would do it, it would be the 49ers. But I just think, man, Philly is just. I don't know, man. They winning in so many ways. I just can't see them losing right now until I see them actually lose. So I'm gonna roll with Philly, man. I think it's gonna be a great game, though. You know, like I
Oh
said,
yeah,
I don't. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be kind of similar to, like I said, to how Philly and Kansas City play. You know, not a lot of points like we thought it may be, but you know, everything is gonna be earned. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised to end up being just like how Buffalo and Philly was this past Sunday, where
yeah,
it's a shootout. You know, both teams are capable of doing just that. You know, whether it be close defensive, battles, tough, earn every yard, or it can be back and forth trap me. It can happen either way, man. But I think just because them being at home helps a little bit too.
yeah,
Uh,
no doubt.
I give that slight, I mean, minute edge to Philly. So I'm gonna roll with Philly, man. But I think it's gonna be a great game for sure. Now, getting over here to college football.
Yeah,
Like I said, we just wrapped up. We just wrapped up the regular season. So now I saw a post on Facebook from Funny Man. He's a big Alabama fan, and he's really
I
he
ain't
was
watching any
joking.
videos, man. I ain't
I
watching
haven't
any
I
videos.
haven't I haven't seen any either yet.
Okay.
I haven't seen this past week either yet. But he put a post, which I wholeheartedly agree with him. I know like he was joking, but anyway, I do agree with him. He says that this is essentially the first round of the college football playoff. I know it's like not official, but if in a way when
Oh,
you think about it,
oh yeah. For certain
when
teams, oh yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah, oh
when
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
when you think about it, it's kind of like, okay, this is the college football playoff. It might not be
Mm-hmm.
officially it, but this is the college football playoff because this is going to
This
determine
is.
who goes, to the
Mm-hmm.
next round and everything like that, man. But as quickly we look at the rankings here, nothing too major. All the undefeated teams that's left, as far as like Power Five, is ranked 1 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State.
Yep,
Interesting. Ohio State only drops down 4 spots, so they're in at 6, right behind Oregon. I felt that was a little weird,
yep,
just because that they're not playing this weekend. I thought maybe they should be under the teams that are playing this weekend. Granted, I guess they're trying to say they just had their losses. Their loss is to an undefeated team. I guess I don't know, but just when I see a team like Ohio State at 6 and they're not playing this weekend, that just you know what I mean? Like that just
yeah,
kind of is something that way. If something crazy happens, it's kind of giving them a chance. And not saying that they're a bad football team because they're not a bad football team, but it's
nah,
just
mm-mm.
I feel like their loss was the worst loss as far as timing of losing
Yeah,
out of all the teams. You know what I mean?
yeah. They. This is not the situation that happened last year where Ohio State had C.J. Stroud and they. I can concur, especially with everything that happened. USC losing. Ohio State was one of the best teams, one of the best 4 teams in the country last year.
Yeah.
This year they're not, and they just lost. And the way this ranking looks, it's almost like if you're outside of the top 6, man, you are not getting in this thing. That's what it looks like. Now, it should
I,
not be that way
that's
because
funny because I was just about to ask you that. I was like, is Texas and Alabama screwed? Are
they
they screwed?
they shouldn't be. If Alabama wins on Saturday, they should be in. They should be in. Texas needs help. Texas is going to need. They're probably going to. They're going. Well, not probably. They're going to need Florida State to lose. Florida State has to lose, and they're going to have to. After that, I don't know what else could happen. I mean, after that, they're just going to have to hope and pray that they put them in over a one-loss Oregon, or if Oregon was to win, or maybe that they don't throw Georgia in, because I could see if Bama beats Georgia, I could see Georgia still being in. If Florida State loses, I could see it being Michigan. Say Michigan and Washington win. I could see it being Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and then you're down to Georgia and Texas. Because Oregon will be out because they'll have 2 losses. Ohio State should be out, so now you're down to them too. Georgia's been number one team basically all year. You see them? So it makes it look that way. I don't think that it is, but it definitely makes it look like if you're not in that top six, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. Bama loses, you're done. Oregon loses, you're done. Really, what really to be honest, what Texas probably needs is for Georgia to win, for Washington to win, and for Florida State to lose. Because
Probably
now you
so. I mean,
cross out Oregon and Alabama, two lost teams. Florida State loses, they're done, and now they hop over and they hop over, they win, they hop over Ohio State, and there you go, Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Texas. So that's probably the best case scenario for them, but it definitely makes it look like if you're not in that top six, you won't be in the college football playoff. So um, Ohio State going down to just four definitely surprised me. Definitely surprised me.
yeah, because I believe like if Texas was at 6, I feel like if they were at 6, they would feel a little bit better about it because
Mm-hmm.
there's not as there's not as much help as they would need just off of that one little spot because essentially, we know Oregon and Washington is both going for a spot. So
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna eliminate one team. So now that's a spot you know, that's taken, but then it's also eliminated. And then at that point, depending on who wins, which that kind of helps them, is kind of a good thing that the Pac-12 championship is Friday because that kind of it sets up
You solidify a
yeah,
spot
it's
there.
it sets up a lot of stuff. It sets up a lot of stuff for sure. So they kick it off definitely. It sets up a lot of stuff because let's say Oregon beats Washington. So okay, you got to put Oregon in at that point. So I think
Got
you
to.
said it's solidified the spot. Okay, I don't see Washington being back in the mix in that conversation of it. So I say that they'll
Probably
be
not.
out, right? So now at
Mm-hmm.
that point, let's just say, all right, Oregon wins, Georgia wins, Michigan wins. So now we're down. It's down to Texas and let's say Florida State. Whew, I mean, the help is still there, but then you don't feel as bad because now it's just kind of like, all right, if we win, if we
Mm-hmm.
get a Louisville win, we know that we in. But if Washington wins, that kind of screws it up some for them because now it's like, all right, that's now we know it's 3 spots instead of 2,
Yep.
or whatever. So I don't know, but I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's championship weekend. It's a lot at stake for not just the playoffs for the top 4 teams. Is who's going to
Mm-hmm.
what bowl, what group of 5 team is going to be the representative because we got SMU and Tulane for the AAC, and then there's New Mexico State and Liberty in the Conference USA championship game. So obviously, if Tulane wins, they get that spot. But if
Yep.
Liberty wins on Friday and SMU beats Tulane, now they gets Liberty in to represent for the Group of 5 team. So it's a lot at stake, man,
Oh yeah.
for these championship games, man. So you got those games, uh, you know, all over, man. Just getting ready to set up here, but um, we're gonna get right into it. That first game on tap, man. We got Oregon, Washington, the rematch, Pac-12 championship. It's a lot on the line. A spot in the college football playoff here is on the line. Uh, Oregon has been on a tear since that Washington game, and Washington has had some close calls since that game and on down. So you know, it came down to a few plays here and there up there in Seattle. If I'm not mistaken, the Pac-12 championship game is in Vegas, so neutral
It's in
site.
Vegas. Yep.
Yeah, it's in Vegas, so neutral site. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think this is the toughest game to call to a certain extent. To me, it's the toughest one to call. Who you got in this one?
I'm really surprised. A lot of people are picking Oregon, and it's almost like it's a like people are picking Oregon like it's a no brainer. which shocks me. Like it's people, yeah. Oregon has been on a tear, but Washington has been playing some tough comp the last couple weeks, and yeah, they might not have won as stylish as you might have hoped, but two road games at USC and then at Oregon State, and then they beat Utah at home. Those are three tough games, and all three of those schools were ranked when they played them. So I'm like, yeah, they played tough. Oregon has been rolling, but Washington has showed some character in some of these wins that they've had over the last couple of weeks. And obviously, it was a thriller when they played earlier in the season. I've been on the Washington train all year. Y'all have heard me talk about Washington for the last couple of weeks, and them progressively just passing test after test after test. Right now, Oregon is a 9.5 point favorite. I think that will. I think that will dwindle. Yeah, 9.5, man. Exactly. Exactly. I don't think Oregon has been playing that much better. I think you get in the neutral site now, and where there's no weather to worry about, and both these quarterbacks are going to be able to go out there and just throw this football around. I like the connection with Mike Penix and Roma Duzier. I think they've been balling. They've been rolling the last couple of weeks, too. They got two NFL caliber receivers. I know the slot guy, he's been getting back from, he was hurt. So he was getting back into form and everything. I'm going with Washington, man. I'm gonna stick with it. I've raved about them and talked about them all season. I think Washington gets the dub in another close game, another thriller. But I think they hold on and win, man. I don't see why. I don't get. Let me not say I don't see it, but I don't get the whole like this is just going to be a walk in the park. Like this is just foregone conclusion that Oregon's going to win this football game. Washington is good. Washington is good, and they are not going to roll over. So I expect it to be a thriller. I'm going to go with Washington.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a thriller. Man, I didn't know the line was that deep though.
Nah, it'll go down
That's
after.
basically saying,
Right.
yeah, it gotta be. But I'm saying that's basically saying 10 points. They saying a double digit favorites. Yeah,
That's tough.
that's hard for me to give a team, and I know things have changed since the last time they played, but that's hard for me to give a
Mm-hmm.
team who lost to that team early and man have them as a 10 point favorite. I just, I don't know about that because I'm all about results. I mean, the last time they
Mm-hmm.
played, Washington was the team that won. So,
Yeah.
I think everybody. I think what it is everybody. It's been so many years that Oregon was supposed to be that team out of the Pac-12. They're supposed to be the team that's supposed to
No
come
doubt.
out. If it wasn't them, it's supposed to be USC.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be the ones that's supposed to be coming out here to Pac-12. And year in and year out, they've had a chance, but
Mm-hmm.
they've ended up blowing it. And then by the time they get to the Pac-12 championship game, they may win it, but they're not going to the playoffs. They're
Yeah.
just going to a New Year's Six game and everything like that. But the fact that this one they have a legit shot to go to it, I think that's why everybody is kind of on it. And I know they haven't been to the playoffs since the first inception of it, when
Yeah.
it first got started, which was 10 years ago and everything. So maybe it is time, but I'm with you. I'm going with Washington. I think Michael Penix Jr. has another crazy game that he has. Obviously this is him and Bo Nix going there. The two guys that's in the talks, if I'm not mistaken, in the talks for the Heisman conversation, which
Mm-hmm.
that'll we'll find out who probably wins that before or after, all of this, is done and everything like that once the season
Yeah.
wraps up. So this is another chance to showcase that. Even though if I had to vote, my vote would be Jaden Daniels, but that's just me. But hey,
I hear you. I ain't mad at it.
if one of them winning, I ain't mad at it neither. But yeah, man, I just think just because we've seen Washington be battle tested week after
Mm.
week after week, and they come out on top. The one time we saw Oregon battle tested, they were on the losing end of it.
Yeah.
So to me, that just I wanted the team who's had that experience of being battle tested for weeks. This
Yeah.
hasn't been like a once every 2 weeks thing. Like this was pretty much their whole back half or back third of the
Yeah.
season. It was week after week. Like they were
Yeah.
they were fighting just to stay unbeaten. Like it was so many close calls. On the road, weather,
Mm.
all kind of stuff that they had to deal with. So I'm with you. I'm going Washington. I think they go ahead and do that. And they solidify that, and that will probably make a few fans of certain schools mad because it's kind of like, okay, well, that's one spot that's gone, and it is
Yep.
what it is.
Yep.
That's that. The next game on tap, year in and year out, it seems like now it's always coming down to these two teams. Uh, I've seen some people say this is the de facto national championship game
Boy, boy,
because
let me tell you
it's
something, boy.
you know
Hey,
I tell
man.
you this, it was in 2012. I tell you that it was in 2012. It
Man,
still
let
hurts
it
me.
go,
It
man.
still
It's
it still
okay.
hurts. It still hurts me to that day when
Hurry,
when Aaron, I said, man, I'm sitting there watching. I'm feeling like a coach. I said, spike it, spike. And they tried to run a play, and I was like, oh my
it's
God,
okay, man. It's
bruh.
okay.
But anyway, so y'all know where we're going with this. This is number 1 Georgia, number 8 Alabama SEC championship game. This is, I think, gonna be the 4th time in recent, I think, history, far as meeting in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 4th time here recently since that 2012. So, and Alabama has won all 3 meetings. There was a 32-28 in 2012, and then 2018 you had the 35-28 game where Jalen Hurts came in for Tua in that
Mm-hmm.
second half and got that. And then 2 years ago in 2021 where pretty much that Georgia defense was shutting down everybody, and then here comes Bryce Young and Jameson Williams and John Mechie, and they just blew the doors off of them. Granted,
Yeah.
unfortunately, Jameson Williams, got hurt. And was it him or was it Mechie? Which one? It
Mitch
was.
got hurt in that
It
one.
was Mechie got
And,
hurt in that one, and he got hurt
James
in the
Williams got hurt
championship game.
in the playoff
In
game.
the championship, yeah, okay. But so obviously, yes, Georgia won I guess the one that you can say that really counted at that point, the last time they met for us with the national championship game. But the last 3 meetings here in the SEC championship, Alabama has come out on top. Um, who you got in this one?
The line is 5.5 in favor
I
of
see that.
Georgia. Just so you know,
I can
five and
see
a half
that.
in favor of Georgia.
I can see that one.
Both teams have started to play better, especially towards the back half of this season. Georgia finally in that Ole Miss game looked like the team who we thought they should be. They should have been all season. They came out and they dominated Ole Miss. Alabama, obviously, with the loss to Texas, and then the beginning of the season trying to figure out the quarterback situation, it just didn't look good for Alabama. I didn't see them really. I thought LSU was going to come out of the SEC West. I thought LSU was going to be a team come out of the SEC West, and they got it together. Jalen Milroe has been playing lights out football, and this Alabama team, man, is a force to be reckoned with right now. This is going to be a great football game. 4 o'clock Eastern, if you're on Eastern time. For my people that's Central, 3 o'clock. Make sure you're sitting down in front of a TV. Tell you put your phone on, do not disturb, whatever you got to do. All right, pay attention, cause it's about to be some old school football right here. Defense and run game. That's what this gonna come down to. I think both teams are gonna be able to make plays throughout the game through the air. Now, Georgia is going to miss Brock Bowers. I know he didn't play last week against Georgia Tech. They might have tried to get him back a little too soon because it seemed like he just has not been right. It keeps bugging him, and he wasn't able to go against Georgia Tech. He hasn't been the same. He just has not been able to get right. So, and I don't know if I really see him playing on Saturday or being a big contributor on Saturday. So it's going to be Ladd McConkey and so in the company because you're probably going to miss Brock Bowers. I'm going to pick Alabama. I'm going to pick Alabama to win this game. I think that Miro made some plays with his legs, and I think that defense makes enough plays, and they make a play late. They get a late turnover to help seal this win. But I'm going to go with Alabama. I think that they've been hearing about Georgia the last couple of years, and obviously, if that Nick Saban obviously remembers the 2021, beating them in the SEC championship game, losing to them in the national championship. You don't have John Mechie, you don't have Jameson Williams, so you feel like I didn't have all my horses in that game. But we ultimately ended up losing. Last year they didn't make the playoff, they made the SEC championship game, so that didn't happen. So I think they're gonna be motivated. They're gonna be motivated to come out and get this football game. I'm gonna go with Bama. I'm gonna pick Alabama. In a tight one. But Georgia played around with Georgia Tech a little bit last week. Granted, it's a rivalry game, but they were flirting. They were flirting just a little bit. So I'm gonna take Bama. I'm gonna take Bama in a close one. I think that Brock Bowers injury, man, that's it hasn't hurt him yet, but that hurts. That hurts in a game like this. You could definitely use Brock Bowers in this game on Saturday, and I just don't know. He's not gonna be 100%.
See, bro, I told you when he
You
did
called
that.
it.
I said it, bro. Honestly, he could have waited and came back maybe either the UT game or came back last week.
Yeah.
And would have been fine. You know what I'm saying? Get a couple games back under your belt, under your win, and we get you for this stretch run here for possibly 3 more games. You know, a chance at 3 more games, right? So, you know, I don't know. Now, granted, like you said, I mean, it hasn't come back to bite them in the rear end yet. They've been able to still win without them, but now you know this is a different animal we're talking about. This is Alabama. This is Nick Saban. You know, this team that we saw back early week 2 who lost to Texas. This is not the same Alabama team now.
It's not.
It's not. We know how it is. With Jalen Miro has taken full control of. Miro has taken full control over this offense. Jermaine Burton has came along for them as well. A former Bulldog. So obviously he want this one too. You know, real bad. The last time these two teams played, I went against Georgia because I just didn't trust Kirby. I didn't trust Kirby enough to feel like that they would get it done because the previous history is just seeming like he know how to coach against everybody else until he get the Nick, and then he don't know how to coach no more. So then I'm just kind of like, all right, bro.
Yeah.
I do feel like the fact that he finally did get over that hump to get him 2 years ago gives him a little bit more confidence.
No doubt.
So for the sake of sportsmanship and my household, I gotta roll with the dogs. I gotta roll with the dogs, man.
Yeah,
you know,
you can't. You can't.
I mean, and then honestly, just because if this happens to Alabama wins, now we have ultimate. This is real chaos now. This is real chaos because now we really get into like, are we leaving out conference champions? You know, to get and I think it depends on how it happens, right? If it comes down to the last second and it's like, 31-27, Alabama beats Georgia, I think you gotta still keep them in just because it's like, all right, they lost on the last minute drive or whatever, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if we talking about it's 41-21, 31-10, yeah.
Yeah,
Then at that point, even me as a fan, I'm gonna say we don't deserve to be in there because we pretty much wet the bed at the most unopportune time to do that, and we
yeah,
did it. But in the end, I hope that we just hold serve and secure that spot. I'm rolling with the dogs. I got to. I mean,
yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm picking Bama too, is because now we really do get to say, okay, who do you think are the best 4 teams in the country?
yep,
Who do you
yep,
think? Because like you said, are you gonna leave out now? Are you gonna leave out a conference champion? They at 8. This is the furthest a team will come up to go to the playoff. Are you gonna leave Alabama out?
yep, yep. Because
Are you gonna leave them
if
out?
they win and all the other favorites win, then what?
One loss, conference champion, beat number 1 team. What you gonna do? So, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got to pick Georgia, man. You can't. This house divided over there.
For sure, for sure. Definitely got to do that, man. Definitely got to do that. And then, man, the final game that we got here on the pick'em, maybe not the sexiest game, but man, everybody's gonna be tuned in for it once all the other games is done.
Yeah, this
Friday we'll figure out. Friday we'll already know from who the Pac-12 will be there. Texas. If they win, they kick us off Saturday morning. We got the SEC championship right there in the afternoon. So once that finish up, I mean, I guess if you're a fan of the Big Ten, I guess you can watch that one. I mean,
I
I
mean,
guess, but
I
all
didn't know.
eyes
I didn't know that Iowa was ranked or had 10 wins. I had no clue.
and probably hadn't even scored over 30 points in
Hey man, hey man, hey man, hey. They got 10 wins, man. I don't
they
want to.
do, they
They
do,
got
they
10 wins,
do.
man.
They got 10 wins. I
We talking
can't
about
argue that.
points, man. We ain't worried about their points. They win games. That's all friends worry about.
They scoring more than the other, right? They
That's
scoring
all
more
they
than the other
doing. You know what
team.
I'm saying? Nebraska blew that game. I watched the Nebraska Iowa game. They blew it. We ain't gonna talk about it. Let's get to AC Championship, but
For
they blew
sure,
it.
for
But
sure.
yeah,
But I think for the sake of drama and uncertainty, all eyes gonna be glued Saturday night to that ACC championship game between number 14 Louisville and number 4 Florida State. Obviously no Jordan Travis, so
mm-hmm.
that is holding a major cloud over Florida State, because this is pretty much it's a must win for them. I think out of all the teams that's ranked right now, they can't afford to lose. I mean,
No, Ooh,
they
no,
really can't afford to lose because everybody knows if they lose, but they're definitely not in. They're
mm-hmm.
definitely not in, and that's opening up the door for either Texas or an Alabama, possibly a Georgia. Who however whatever happens earlier in that day, um, but I mean Louisville, um, blowing that game last week against
Yeah.
Kentucky. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who you got?
Let me ask you this question before I give my pick. If if Florida State wins, do they get in?
Gosh, I mean, it's all kind of predicated on what happens before all of them. But I say if all the favorites end up winning,
Yeah. Say
and
Florida wins, Michigan obviously wins, Washington wins. So Oregon is out. Florida State wins. Are they in?
so now we're talking about Florida State and Texas, right? I mean, are they one of the 4 best teams?
Are they in the playoff, man? You on that
Are they
committee?
are are they one of the 4 best teams? If it was up to me, I would say no. but
because
because
if
there's
Jordan
no
Jordan Travis was
if
playing.
yes, I would then at that point it's a no
Okay.
brainer. It's a no brainer. But
Right.
do I want to? You know what I'm saying? Like let's be because at that point then we put them at 4. So at that point, if everybody holds serve, we talking about Georgia versus Florida State.
Yeah. You know what's coming. Yeah.
Do that sound? You know what I'm saying? Do that
Yeah.
sound like compared to maybe getting a little preview of next year, Georgia Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know, but then it's kind of like, well, they undefeated, right? I mean, they didn't lose a game, so I don't know, man.
Okay. So um I'm picking Louisville. I'm picking Louisville because of your quarterback situation down in Tallahassee. I don't they were able to muscle up and beat Florida. Florida isn't all that great. They weren't all that great this
Right, right.
They were down early and they were able to come back and win that game. I'll say this: if Florida State does win, I I need people to keep the same energy because people have talked about Florida State winning, and regardless if it was Jordan Travis or not, Florida State winning, and they're talking about how the ACC was weak and they played this and that and all that type of stuff. Newsflash: this the same ACC that Clemson been winning for the past 4, 5, 6 years. It's the same conference. It's the same poo-poo teams that been playing in this conference when Clemson was doing all this and winning. So I don't want to hear this now. I don't want to hear it now. I don't want to hear people talking about the ACC is weak and stuff like that. Now it's been weak. It's been weak.
It's been weak.
We've
It's been
been
weak for a
clamoring
minute
for
now.
another team to get good because of how weak it's been.
Yeah,
Because Clemson is like, please, can Florida State get back good? Can Miami get rolling? Somebody, Texas, anybody, can somebody get back to relevancy? Because this Clemson is running roughshod through the conference, but no one was saying nothing when they were doing it. So I don't want to hear nothing about it now when Florida State is doing it. I don't want to hear it. All right. Now I got my soapbox. I'm picking Louisville because of the quarterback situation. I just don't know if they're gonna be able to overcome that. I think that Florida State has better players. I think they have better players, especially at some of your different spots. Jared Verse at that DN, he's a monster. We all know about Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. I like watching Johnny Wilson play. I think he's one of the better receivers in the league. To be 6'7" and be a receiver and do what he does is he's different. And Coleman is too. They got a good running back. That quarterback position though, you gotta have a guy. And in a game like this, that trigger man means a lot. And if it was Jordan Travis, I'm picking Florida State. He's out. I'm going Louisville. That's really what it comes down to.
So with your picks, how you have it is, are you saying it's Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama? Because I know we didn't pick the Texas game, but we're assuming that they're gonna win,
I assume that they will win.
right?
Michigan, Alabama, Washington.
Has to
It,
be. I
it would
mean,
come down between Texas and Georgia. And to me, and
eesh,
to me,
eesh.
to me, I don't think that the SEC championship game is not going to be a blowout. It's going to be if I feel like this, if it's a blowout, it's going to be a blowout in favor of Georgia.
Okay,
I don't see it being a blowout in favor of Alabama. If it's a
okay,
blowout in favor of Alabama, I would be shocked.
yeah.
I wouldn't be too surprised if Georgia jumped out on them and blew them out and blew Alabama out. But it comes down to Georgia and Texas, and because I believe it's going to be a close game, I don't see them leaving Georgia out,
Got you.
which would be
See,
tough. It would
yeah.
be tough because you're leaving out a conference champion that has one loss. I
I mean, a conference
me, I
champion gonna get
don't
left
see
out anyway.
the committee. If that happens, I don't see the committee leaving out Georgia. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
I feel that.
So I think Georgia would be the fourth team. And Texas, Texas would be the odd man out. I mean,
I feel that.
it was
I feel
rough.
that.
It was
Okay,
rough.
okay. I just want to see where you was at with that. I, I want to pick Louisville just because somewhere some chaos got to get started.
Somebody.
Somebody has to start some chaos somewhere. So I'm just afraid that they won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna still go ahead and pick Louisville anyway.
Okay.
Just because I just want to see some chaos. I don't know. I just feel like Florida State's been chugging along this far, and
Mm-hmm.
now obviously they've gone the past pretty much essentially 2 games without Jordan Travis, but albeit it was North Alabama and it was Florida,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. This would be this would be their toughest test for sure as far as stakes and everything that's on the line here for them. And just not having Jordan Travis to me, it just makes it tough for me to
Yeah.
want to pick them. Even though I won't be surprised if Coach Norvell got them boys right and they found a way to pull it out. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I don't know, man. I just think Louisville may find a way to win it, but they can also find a way to give it away, kind of like
Yeah.
they did last week against Kentucky. Because they should have had that game won, but they didn't. And they could have. Well, I don't know if they would have made that big of a jump, but still, they could have had a lot of say so and a lot of things too, and everything like that. But we've seen it before, man. Oregon
Yeah.
did it one year in the Pac-12 championship, ruined it for Utah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Utah did it
Yeah.
last year against USC. So,
Yeah.
the somebody is gonna start some chaos for
Mm.
sure. Uh, we just don't know who it's coming from, and we'll obviously we saying that it's gonna come from the ACC. Now, I will say this: I know we didn't pick this game because I know we're assuming that Texas is gonna win, but they better bring their lunch pad, man.
Oklahoma State is
Because you know who they giving the ball to.
he gonna get it.
You know who they giving the
He is
ball to.
going to. We're gonna hand this football off. Here he comes.
Here you come. Oh, I guarantee if it's close, I guarantee he's touching at least 25, maybe 30 times. If it's
Last time he had 34.
he had 34, so I'm saying he had 34 last game. So
He had
I'm
5
already
plus.
I'm already knowing, bro. I'm already knowing. Gordon getting that rock, boy. He getting that
Here
rock.
we go.
So
Yeah.
them boys better come strapped.
If
Them boys better
Texas,
come strapped.
because now we a couple days out now. Texas wins. Florida State wins. Whoever wins the Pac-12. So you have Georgia. Let's say Georgia, Michigan, whoever the Pac-12 champion. Then you have Florida State wins and Texas wins.
Me personally, if we talking about 4 best teams, I feel like Texas is a better team than Florida State.
I would agree.
But I feel like the committee would go, well, they haven't lost a game yet. Are you gonna tell an undefeated team that they can't get? You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's so much that's already happened before this. We like Jordan Travis getting hurt has already caused enough chaos as it is. Because if
really,
Florida State wins, now you have now there is a serious discussion because it's like yeah they beat Florida and they beat Louisville. They're gonna be the 4th seed and they're gonna have to go to New Orleans because it's the Cotton Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, right? Cotton Bowl, Sugar Bowl.
I think it's the Rose Bowl, and it is. Ooh,
I
I
thought
believe it's
one
the
of them.
Rose. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Rose Bowl is the semifinal. Yes, it's the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, yeah. They don't have to go to New Orleans. And it's gonna be, Georgia, Florida State kind of meet in the middle. It ain't gonna be far from Tallahassee, but
Yeah, yeah. That ain't far away. That ain't far away from Athens either.
I foresee that outcome already without Jordan Travis. They have a shot with Jordan Travis in the game. If it's not Jordan Travis, man, that's not going to be a ball game. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. All right.
Yeah, because then at that point we're gonna be like, okay, here we go again. The semifinals games is just being,
And I've heard a lot say they would Florida State would be able to put up a performance kind of like what Cincinnati did when Cincinnati was in the playoff. I don't know if I truly agree with that, but I can understand it because you do not have Jordan Travis. So that Florida State Texas, that's where it's going to get tricky. What I will not stand for is because Ohio State sitting there at 6 is if Florida State wins, Texas wins, and you sitting there and y'all find a way to throw Ohio State in that mix, then we might throw the playoff away. Throw it away. Throw the playoff away. Take me back to the computers. Take me back to the computers because I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this because you can't tell me that Ohio State better than Texas, and I'm not. And then you're not about to tell me that they deserve to be in, like you said, over undefeated. At least Texas will have a argument. You're not even in your conference championship. So,
right.
but yeah, it starts Friday. I think the Big Ten championship is Friday night. It's Friday too.
No, so Friday is just a Conference USA championship and the
It's in the
Pac-12
Pac-12.
championship, and
So
then
okay, so
everybody else is on Saturday.
it's Saturday. Okay, all right. So yeah, it's gonna be Friday night starts the madness. Friday night solidifies who's gonna be in. One of those Pac-12 teams is gonna be in, and then Saturday is go time. Saturday is go time. So this is what you want. This is what you want. These games mean something.
Yep.
These championship games mean something. Couple years they won't. Well, next year they won't because there'll be 12 teams in, and you have 3 or 4 SEC teams in, and everybody's gonna be upset. Well, have better teams in your conference because now here comes Texas and Oklahoma. Now
Yep.
there's gonna be 4 teams next year from the SEC. Oh, you can book that. There's gonna be 4 teams in the playoff next year from the SEC. Georgia will be in, Texas, probably Alabama, and you'll get like a LSU or shoot. Right now, I mean Missouri, like who if the playoff 12 team right now, how many SEC? 1,
What, 4? Well, I guess if you count Texas,
2,
wouldn't it be 5?
3. Oh, I'm tripping. I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because Oklahoma's sitting at 12. So you got Oklahoma at 12, Ole Miss at 11, Missouri at 9, Alabama at 8, Texas at 7, and Georgia at 1. That'd be 6. Yeah. SEC, baby. SEC ball. It just means.
Hey yo, for sure. Bad. But hey, for real, it is. It's gonna be a fun weekend, man. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be locked in. Um, I'm gonna be hopefully. I don't know if they'll be on TV, but I'm gonna be trying to see if I can flip channels between the games on Friday and then figure out the state championship games here. See if they'll have some on. I'll be locked in watching, man, and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be tuned in for sure. Man, you got any words for the people, man, as we get ready to wrap it up here?
Nah, I hope everybody enjoyed the Thanksgiving. I hope everybody enjoyed the time with their family. This time of year is always good because Thanksgiving and Christmas back to back. Really a good way to end the year off. I think you just spend time with your folks, man. When you have a chance to, man, spend time with your folks. Um, it don't matter how even if it's going, even if you can only be with them for 10, 15 minutes, man. I think that we get so caught up sometimes in the hustle and bustle, and well, I'm going to do this and going to do that. I don't know if I can make it over there to see him, or the next time I come back I'll see him. I think when you got a chance, man, kick it with your folks, man. Go see your folks. If you're blessed enough to have your grandparents still in your life and alive, man, go see them. Go see them. Go see your folks, your aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins. Like, go. If you think, just go. Because life is short, man. You just never know. And I think the older as I get, I don't want to get too deep, but I think the older as I get, man, especially I'm fortunate to have my grandparents, both sets, still alive. Um, I cherish those moments with them a lot more than when you were younger. You just don't know. So just keep spending time with the folks, man. Be safe throughout the holidays. Stuff about to get crazy. Stuff already crazy. I've seen all the videos out there in LA. Y'all tripping out there in LA. And, stealing stuff out of the stores and stuff, man. So it's the holidays. Folks gonna be wilding. So be safe, be smart, and be ready for next week. Watch these games this weekend. Tell you 4 o'clock, CBS. It's the last SEC championship game on CBS. They gotta send us out with a bang, man.
Man,
You
got
gotta
to.
send us out after the way Alabama Auburn finished. You gotta send us off with a
We need
bang.
it. Yeah, we
You
need that.
need another one. You got to
We
send
need
us off
another
with
one.
a bang on Saturday, man. So
Yeah.
it's the end to a glorious, glorious run with CBS. Because next year we'll be watching Big Ten game of the week, Minnesota versus Nebraska.
Oh man. Now the game in Nebraska, the crowd probably it'd be lit because they still
They'll be
support
rocking.
their school for sure.
The
Yeah,
game
they'll be
won't
rocking.
be, but
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
crowd will
but
be
they'll be
rocking.
rocking. Yeah, they'll be rocking for sure. They'll be rocking. But yeah, same for me. I ain't got much to say else either. You know, this time of the year is a very very special time, man, for sure. Definitely try to spend as much time as you can with your family. Do what you can, man, and enjoy it. Yeah, we know there's things where gifts and all that stuff like that coming up, doing your little Christmas shopping now and getting ready for that, man. But the main important thing is this is spending time with your family, man, coming
Mm-hmm.
together, doing everything, and just making everybody, because some people, they don't like this time of the year, and rightfully so, because things aren't the same for them. People may not be in their lives anymore and everything like that. So, just cherish all those moments for sure
Mm-hmm.
with your family, man. Continue to support the podcast. Follow the social media. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Love Black women, cherish Black women, protect Black women. No means no.
No means no.
You know what I mean? I know it's getting cold out here and everything like that. You might have your little cuddle buddy, but do it with consent. Yeah, still same thing. Do it with consent. Because some people out here naming the news, man, and it's getting wild. It's getting wild. Which we ain't forgot about that. That'll get talked about. That'll get talked about.
You,
I I know things. I know things are different out that way in Oklahoma, but that'll get talked about. That'll get talked about. Don't think we ain't.
it's
Trust
coming.
me. Yeah. Hey. So don't. You know. Now we ain't gonna run off and say nothing bad. We just gonna give you what's been informed. So we ain't gonna say nothing crazy, but we just gonna give what's informed. But that's another story for another day, man. But yeah, continue to support the podcast, man. We appreciate it. Till the next time, this has been another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast.
Peace.